For this next session, please welcome our lead sponsor for First Tech Challenge in Ontario and the Operations Manager for Studica, Derek Murphy, to talk about the new REV Control Hub.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another season of First Technical Challenge in Ontario. Today, what I'm going to talk about is the use of the REV Control Hub, which is now available for you for the upcoming season. What we're going to do is we will take a little bits of background on the hub and what's different with the hub, and then we'll take you through a quick short demonstration on some of the features and some of the setup of the new REV Control Hub. I'm just going to start out here, and we're going to share my screen so that everybody can have a look at it. And let me just get rid of the chat, and we'll go back through. So, what's new? This year we have the REV Control Hub. There's a quick picture of it. For those of you that are familiar with the expansion hub, you're going to say, hey, it looks like an expansion hub. But the control hub has quite a few new features in it, okay, which is pretty good. And you'll be able to see that and look at a few different things so that you can see it. All right. So for the 2021 season, all teams in all regions will have the use of the REV Control Hub within the FTC competition environment, right? So it's your choice. If you want to use an old expansion hub on your robot, you can still use the expansion hub. But going forward, all new teams, okay, and all teams in all regions will have the opportunity to use the Control Hub on their robot at the competition, right? Basically, in simple terms, the Control Hub is the current expansion hub with the functionality of the Android phone or the Android handset built in. As a team, this is going to give you a lot more flexibility because it's going to, reduce the footprint on your robot. So it's going to make the robot a little bit smaller because you don't have to put the phone on there. And it eliminates that need for that separate Android device, right? Well, this won't impact the practical performance of the robots. It's going to make the experience for new teams a little easier because you don't have those connections with the separate phone, and you don't have the cost associated with the additional phone as well. The Control Hub is also going to allow the use of an updated USB connected camera so that you can use TensorFlow, Vuforia, and other camera-based applications on the Control Hub now. And we'll show you a little bit about that as we get going through it. Right off the top, there's a few visual distances on the Control Hub. Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop this share so that everybody can look at it. So if we take a look at that Control Hub, there are a few physical differences in it. The first thing that you're going to notice is right here, now on the Control Hub, we have USB 2.0, 3.0, external devices on here. We have a USB connector. What I can do with the USB-C connector is I can use that to plug in directly to my computer. An HDMI output port on here. Some of them you will not use. On the top of the Control Hub, it pretty well looks the same. All your audio is the same on there. Your power connection is the same as well. Okay, so you know physically it fits the same footprint and doesn't look at a lot of the different sizes so that you can see it. Right. So like I said, USB-C, USB 2.0, USB 3.0, okay? So you'll see what these functions can do in the presentation. Has the micro SD card slot, and it has an HDMI port, all right? On the robot, when going forward, you're gonna have a little bit of a smaller footprint because you don't have that extra cell phone that's gonna be there, and you also have less cabling. The nice thing about it is that you have less cabling that can come apart So hopefully your connection from your driver station or your driver system to your control system on the robot will be a lot more stable. So basically what we do now is we have that direct laptop connection from the laptop connection, okay, directly to the robot controller. All right. Got it. Hardware specifications, exactly when you're going to look at it, these are the specs that you have. Same thing as before, you have 4 DC motor ports with built-in encoders. That way you can control the position and the velocity of the motors. You have 6 servo port motors on here. Sensor and digital interfaces are shown, okay? And you also can have additional expansion interfaces. So you can use your existing expansion hub, okay, now with the control hub, so you can add that expansion hub. If you've already got one, you can get a control hub and add the expansion hub. In the past, if you've wanted additional interfaces like more actuators and more sensor ports to add more motors, for instance, you've had 2 expansion hubs. What you can do now is you can have the control hub and the expansion hub. Also has the same currently supported programming languages available to you. So you've got blocks, you have onboard Java, and you have Java on the control hub. Wiring looks pretty well the same. This is a picture of the control hub wiring reference. Okay, so your power in connections are the same. Please watch your power in connections and make sure that you don't short them out on the control hub. We have seen in the past where people can plug a battery in wrong, and the reverse polarity can cause damage to the control hub. So just double check that when wiring up to it. But generally the rest of the interfaces are the same. There is a link in this presentation that First Canada will post that will show you a little bit of an overview of the wiring. So if you're a new team, you can watch that and you can see how to wire up to your control hub for your robot. We're going to talk a little bit about setup and updates. And it is easier for a lot of teams as of Thursday afternoon, and I'm going to show you that as part of this presentation. So the control hub setup allows you to change the name of the control hub and the network name. You can go through that. But the control hub also has several components that are associated with it that need to be updated as well, or may need to be updated at any time during the season. These would be the firmware, the OS, and the robot controller app. Right? When updating the robot controller app, there's a couple of ways to do that. In the past, what would happen is you would have to update it if you were using Java blocks or onboard Java directly. However, if you were using Android Studio, when you uploaded code, it would upload the robot controller app. I'm going to show you in this presentation a great way to do it now, and let's get right to it as we go through. Just so that you have a reference, the control hub and the expansion hub software resources, okay, are available at REV Robotics. So www.revrobotics.com/software. And one important thing to remember, you'll see it in a second, is that the control hub basically is an old expansion hub and the Android device all put together. Okay, so you will see some reference to material where they talk about updating the expansion hub software, and you're actually updating the control hub software. All right, so you can see that if we go live, okay, now you will get the control hub and expansion hub software resources that are available to you, so that you'll be able to look at them. And we'll talk a little bit about this brand new thing at the top here that says REV Hardware Client, okay, as we go forward. All right, let's get back and we'll go and take a look at a few things, okay? A couple of little tips for you when you're going to use the control hub will come up. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the LED codes that are on there in case people aren't familiar with them. But brand new for this year is the REV Hardware Client. So the REV Hardware Client is now available to you. The REV Hardware Client is software that allows you to now connect directly to your control hub or an expansion hub and other supported devices, either via USB or via Wi-Fi. In our instance, what we're going to do is we're going to use USB-C to connect to the control hub, and we'll show you how that works. This brand new client is a great tool, 100% happy for REV to release it. And this will give you easy updates or easy access to installing updates, managing of the software on the supported devices. This includes both the control hub, the expansion hub, and your driver station phone. You can now update through here. We'll show you that. The use of the client also allows me to back up and restore configuration files, blocks programs, and Java files. So one quick way, very, very easy to just immediately get up there and back up all of your presentations, right? You can also manage the Wi-Fi settings for the control hub very easily through the REV Hardware Client. There is a link here for a YouTube video. REV posted a great YouTube video, lasts about 20 minutes. What I'll do is make sure First Canada has that as an MP4 format posted that will basically cover the setup of using the REV Hardware Client and what you can do with that REV Hardware Client. Okay. Just want to talk a little bit before about the status LEDs on the REV control system, okay? And then I'll give you a demonstration and we'll end with that. The status lights, many of you may have not looked at this before on your expansion hub or on the control hub in this case. But those status lights, they're like the check engine light on your car, all right? And the blinks that show up will provide you some very, very valuable information to quickly allow you to diagnose the control hub and the robot, okay? So I put the chart up here just as a reference for you. The LED status lights are here. The middle one you're going to notice is that this is usually what happens is after you turn that control hub on and you connect to it, you will see that you get the solid green that shows up, and then you get a little blinking. And the blinking is the address of the hub. So you'll get the solid green, and then usually you will get 2 blue dots blinking. And that's your factory default address for the hub, okay? And the factory default is 2. So in case anybody ever wondered before, when you get in and you start up and it says, okay, what's your first expansion hub? And then when you click on it, it says it's now expansion hub 2. The reason is that the first hub you're using has a default ID of number 2, okay? So that's why that's there. So this will just give you a little bit of an indication of what the LED codes are and the status are so that you've got it. All right. Okay. So let's take a little bit of a demonstration on here with the software itself, just so that we can have a look at it. Okay, and we can see it. It's pretty straightforward. What I'll do is I'm just going to switch over the camera so that you can see the other interface. In this case here, I'd simply have a REV control hub. We've powered up the REV control hub with the power switch and the XT30 cable and the 12-volt battery. I also, in my case right now, plugged in through another USB port, okay, so that we can have it active, is I actually also have my driver station phone. All right, so I've plugged that in and I've added that into the system as well so that you can see it. All right. What you want to do is you're going to download the REV Control Hub software. Okay. Once you download and launch that REV Control Hub software, what's going to happen is the REV Hardware Client will pop up, and this is what you're going to see on your screen. All right. In this case, because I have a USB powered device on here, you'll see under connected hardware, I do have that Android device and it's a driver station. All right. And it is actually giving me valuable information. Okay. It's telling me right now that the driver station has the client app version 5.5 and it is up to date. Okay. If I do turn on the control hub, all right, and we'll let the control hub boot up. Okay. All right, you'll notice that the control hub will now show up inside of the software. All right, and if I looked at this and I checked for updates, if I click the control hub, okay, you'll see that it tells me that I now have the control hub operating system is up to date, the robot controller app is up to date, and the firmware is up to date. Okay. It also tells me the current status or name of this hub. It hasn't been renamed yet. It's brand new out of the box. All right. If you hit the check for update buttons, it'll run that for you and check it. And as I said, you can flip back between each one of the status. You have a downloads tab here. So this will allow you to download the current update files, all right, and allow you to see the release files that are going to be on the system. You'll see we have the hub firmware, the driver station, and the robot controller app. These have already been downloaded. In my case, it is telling me that there is a version of the hub operating system that I can download. I don't need to download it right now because we already have that on the system, but it's just letting me know that as far as it thinks right now, I haven't downloaded them. All right. You'll get the little about here. Just from REV. So this will allow you to check for updates for the software as well. And it will tell you what devices the REV Hardware Client currently supports. So you can update your control hub, your expansion hub, and your Android phones right from within inside the system when you're going to do it. One thing you do want to remember is that when you are connecting to the control hub, all right, you are going to use the USB-C port. If you try to connect to the mini USB, because that's the only cable you've got, you will not see the control hub. All right. So you got to have a USB-C cable, which is that top board, to connect to it. You do have several other tabs that are going to be really nice for you to use as you go through. Down on the bottom left corner, you'll see a scan for devices. And also, if you're having trouble finding a control hub or an expansion hub, and you don't see your device, if you click this, all right, it's going to give you some tips and tricks. So this is really great. It tells you to make sure you're plugged in, for instance, to the USB-C port, not the mini USB port, all right? And, you know, we know that because first time we plugged it in, guess what? We tried to plug into the mini USB port. So there's a little bit of help as you go through. If you click on the control hub quickly so that you can see it, you will notice 3 tabs. So we have update. We do have program and manage. So really cool. Now we get the robot controller console. Okay. So I can actually go in right now and I can program and manage right from within inside the system. Okay. It tells me the name and it tells me a few other little bits of information that's going to be there. Okay. So that's good. And I have a backup and restore button. Okay, so in the backup and restore button, what we can do is we can back up our files now. So it's really cool because you can work off one control hub, back everything up, and then restore those configuration files and code immediately back onto another control hub with one click of the button. So really nice, really good for you to use. You'll also see here that you can send logs to REV, okay? So that if you have an issue, REV has built in online support here, okay? You put your name and your email number in, and if you're having an issue, send that off and REV will get back to you right away so that you can work that and have a look at it so that you can see it, right? So that is the introduction to the REV Control Hub, okay? Great tool, great device. Like I said, going forward, all teams can choose to use the control hub for the upcoming season, or you can continue to use your expansion hub. So it gives you a little bit of a chance to transition over as you are going forward, okay, and able to look and see what you're going to do. All right. Pretty simple presentation, not a lot there. So I am a little bit about 5 minutes early, Artie. So if anybody is there What we should be able to do is open this up for any questions. I don't see any coming up in the chat, but I'd be welcome to have any come up as we go through.